Okay, so one of the most common errors or mistakes I see with my own clients and just people that I have observed over the years is that when they perform the clean or the snatch, the bell or the kettlebell rotates and bangs the forearms. This leads to not a good training experience, and it can also lead to injuries, and it's not conducive to long-term training or to good practice. So, in my opinion, there's 2 or 3 common reasons that I see this happening all the time, and I have 2 or 3 quick fixes that can help you eradicate this from your or your client's training. So first of all, we're going to start with the setup, okay? So, what most or a lot of people will do is they'll set up with the bell or the handle of the bell running horizontal to the body. So it's running in this fashion across the body. When you do that, then it promotes you to create this death grip, or this really hard, strong grip across the bell. And you can see that from the side, if I'm set up in this position and I want to perform a snatch, once I come up into here, the kettlebell has a longer area to travel over and across to perform the snatch. That's going to promote this banging on my forearm, because from here the kettlebell has nowhere to go but flip over and across. The alternative that I would propose is to actually set up with the kettlebell running in that position. So now the handle is running forward. From here I take a claw grip with my thumb facing forward. So I don't have the same kind of death grip that I showed you in the previous one. Once I come to this position, when I come up to the point where I have reached the peak extension of the snatch, I now just insert my hand through the handle, and the kettlebell has a very short distance to actually maneuver around my hand. So that is a very quick fix, and it's just down to the position that you set up and the grip that you take. The second issue I see with a lot of people is that they allow the bottom of the kettlebell to come higher than the handle when they're performing the snatch or the clean. So you can imagine that this is the bottom of the kettlebell and this is the handle. If the bottom of the bell gets higher than the handle, that's going to happen. You can imagine doing a snatch set where you're doing multiple reps like this, then you're going to end up with a very bruised and sore wrist. Okay? So for that, what we need to do is we need to learn the float. We need to learn how to float the kettlebell in the air, never allowing the bottom of the kettlebell to come higher than the handle. So the float, there becomes a point where I can release the kettlebell in the air, where I have reached peak acceleration, never allowing this to happen. If I allow this to happen, it's going to flip. Again, it flips. What I want to do is, I want to find this float and then just insert the hand as I float. So the third point is the hand insertion. And that is just a timing and a coordination issue that I see with a lot of beginners. They don't have that timing right, and they start to insert the hand maybe here and it bangs, instead of up here where I'm learning how to control the bell and at what point I have reached that maximum acceleration, and now the hand insertion becomes easy because the kettlebell has floated. So they're the 3 areas that if you could try to improve on, would make a drastic change in that kettlebell flipping and bouncing off the forearm. The other area in this that I won't cover here because I'll do it in a future video is the actual angle and the trajectory of the bell as I pull. if I swing the bell in a big wide arc, then even with good timing and positioning, it's still going to be an element of banging. And we know that the shortest point from point A to point B is a straight line. So we need to try to pull in more of a straight line, and we also need to try to work on the descent in a straight line as well. As opposed to. So to recap, the position of the handle, running forward, taking a claw grip with your thumb pointing forward. From there, never allow the bottom of the kettlebell to get higher than the handle and learn the float. And lastly, just build your skill in actually timing the insertion at the point of the float. Try those 3 little changes in your kettlebell snatch or clean technique, and I can guarantee that it will eliminate the bouncing or the banging at the forearm and make your kettlebell training a far more enjoyable experience.